touching me. Stop. I said I don't want him touching me. Stop. I don't feel comfortable with him.
You're about to watch a 21-year-old dig herself into a hole with her own mouth. No shovel, no plan, just one lie stacked on top of another in real time on camera. Here's promise number 1. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which piece of evidence broke her story open.
How old are you?
21.
You're 21?
Yeah. My dad is
A single fragment of plastic. It's sitting in the middle of a road right now, and it's about to end every excuse she has left. Here's promise number 2. You're going to hear her call her father a man she believes has the power to make this whole night disappear. What he says on that call does the opposite. You'll hear it happen, word for word.
Who was that?
Sean Lee.
Okay. All right.
I'm sorry. I think I left my wallet at Applebee's.
Sorry, just keep your hands out of your pockets, please.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. So you're coming from Applebee's right now?
Yeah, I had to drink.
Okay. Which way did you take to go from Applebee's to here?
I went around at the light on Route 9, and I came back from here, and then around back, and then here, because
So
it was empty on gas.
So you went over by, like, Lowe's?
No, the light.
You came up Applebee's.
I came out of Applebee's, the
Okay.
light.
Which way?
Yeah, the light, the Lowe's, I guess, right there, right?
You cut through Applebee's, right? You went through the plaza, you came out by Lowe's, by Chick-fil-A, you made the right, and you had the traffic light right there. Okay. Did you hit that pole that's over there?
No.
You didn't hit the utility pole?
Hit anything in.
Because your bumper's in the
Yeah,
middle of the
no.
road.
No, I hit the, so do you see this side?
Yeah.
I hit this
Okay.
at my,
How long ago?
like about a month ago, my ex's,
Okay.
because he broke up with me and I broke up with him. And
All right, go hang out back over there. Keep your hands in your pockets, please. It's okay.
I'm sorry.
Listen, your bumper's in the road over there. Okay, did you just hit that pole?
No, I promise you I did
No?
not.
So if someone brings that bumper over here, it's not going to match up perfectly. You're coming from Applebee's, you're telling me. You went out that way. Everything's matching up. Witnesses said they saw a white car cross over in this direction, and I happen to find your car parked here
The bumper
with no bumper.
The bumper was hanging off.
Okay. All right. So, Teresa,
Yes.
let me ask you again.
Yeah.
You left Applebee's.
Yeah, I left Applebee's.
You cut through the plaza. You came out by Lowe's and Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Did you hit the traffic pole that's right
No,
there?
I did not hit the traffic pole.
Do you not remember hitting a traffic pole?
Did not hit the traffic pole, I promise you.
So your bumper's in the middle of the road over there, and there's a pole down.
This part was hanging off already because I already hit something.
Okay.
When I hit a deer in Pennsylvania because I go to school in Kentucky, and this part was hanging off already.
Okay. Do you smoke marijuana recreationally?
No, I do not smoke marijuana.
What do you prescribe that you put that you had when
I'm a soccer athlete. Can I call my dad, who's a sheriff's officer?
Let the one officer come here who's out with your other part of your bumper. He's going to talk to you, and then we'll go from there, okay? You go to college?
Yes, I go to Pennsylvania. I'm a soccer captain there.
Okay.
I do not smoke marijuana universally.
Do you do any recreational
No.
drugs?
Can I call my dad?
How old are you?
I'm 21. I had to drink at Applebee's and I'm like scared out of my mind right now.
But Teresa, I explained to you this before. Lying isn't going to get you
not
anywhere.
lying.
We just need to know the truth.
You just lied.
You just lied. We just caught you in a lie.
Can you tell
I
me
just found this piece over by the traffic light by Lowe's. You said that piece fell off in Pennsylvania.
I don't-
You
That's a
told me
lie.
you hit a deer. You
That's a lie.
told me a whole bunch of
I
stories.
hit a deer in Pennsylvania. You can ask my dad. Please ask my dad.
You just hit a telephone, a traffic light. And that's where this piece was.
And that's really where that piece was. Yes, I probably hit that one.
You did hit that.
I hit a deer.
You see this?
I hit a deer before this. You can ask my dad.
This piece fell off at the traffic light that you hit, that you knocked over. Lying doesn't help anything. Where were you coming from?
I'm not lying. I came from Applebee's. I had one drink. I promise.
Okay, after Applebee's, where'd you go?
I came from there, the traffic light that's right there, and then I came around in there because my house. I would have to go from that traffic light to there.
Okay, that doesn't really make too much sense either, considering that the traffic light that you took out was on the corner
Which corner?
of the back entrance of Lowe's.
Yes, the back entrance of Lowe's. Lowe's is
South
right there, so I have to go around there. So I have to go around there. So the Y road's right there.
I'm just going to draw this out for you. So here's the corner for the back entrance for Lowe's. Your vehicle came and impacted it on the passenger side, hitting the traffic light. So that means that you were coming from down a different part of Lanesville Road.
You see that Y road, or Applebee's right there?
Yeah.
Okay, so I would go that way, which Lowe's is right there. Then I would go the traffic light to the LA Fitness, which is right there, which is my gym. Then I would go that way, which goes down to the Quick Check, which is that way. Then I would make the right that was that way, and just turn Y road. My dad.
Again, that doesn't make too much sense considering where the damage was and where the Chipotle you took out was. So here, ready? Lanesville Road.
Yes.
Lowe's is on the right. You hit the traffic light on the right-hand side of Lowe's with the passenger side of your vehicle, which is where this piece was, which matches identically, which didn't fall off in Pennsylvania, which fell off on
I know it didn't
Lanesville
fall
Road.
in Pennsylvania. I know that. I hit a deer in Pennsylvania,
Well, you also hit a telephone pole today,
Okay.
or a traffic light today.
and I must have hit something today. I'm sorry.
So you don't know that you hit a traffic light.
I did not hit a traffic light today.
So you mean to tell me that it's just a coincidence that this was
I
on?
did not hit a traffic light today.
So again, you mean to tell me that this is just a coincidence that this piece was found right next to a traffic light?
I'm not saying that. I hit a deer in Pennsylvania. I was coming home from my boyfriend's house the one day where I hit a crosser. You were just calling my dad, who's a sheriff's officer. He would tell you this. I hit a traffic.
What's up? Yeah. She's got guacamole everywhere. She got guac everywhere. I was trying to figure out what the green stuff was, and I saw
That's not an Applebee's bag.
chips and guac. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I don't know what
This
this.
fell off in Pennsylvania. I'm saying that I hit the thing in here, and this damaged this here, and then I must have hit something today, and then this fell off. I'm not saying that I'm lying. I'm saying like this.
I'm explaining to you that you hit a traffic light at the corner of Lanesville Road in the back entrance for Lowe's,
Okay,
and then you left the scene.
I did not.
Did you call 911?
That's what it was?
The other accident.
I know.
That was right next to.
Yeah, I know.
I was at Dunkin' and the guy backed into me in this accident.
Listen, are you just scared you're gonna get tickets or something?
Yes.
Is that all it is?
Yes.
So you want to just tell the truth?
Yes, I'm telling you the
So when
truth.
after Applebee's, did you hit a traffic pole?
I think I hit something. I remember hitting something.
You can't miss it. It lights up. It's red, green, and yellow.
I remember hitting something after Applebee's. But
Okay.
I'm saying, like,
And then did you drive away because you're scared because you had maybe had one drink and you think you're drunk?
Yeah.
And you might get arrested, but you don't seem like you're drunk?
Yes.
Is that what's going on? So you drove away because you're scared?
Yes.
So you might get some tickets and maybe you might get arrested? Is that why?
Yes.
Okay, so now we're starting to tell the truth, right?
I remember hitting something, but I remember, like before this, I already hit something, and he was.
So you're saying there was some damage, but obviously your bumper is over there like this officer was saying.
This was already damaged.
Okay.
This was already
Okay.
damaged. This fell off because of already damaged.
Okay, but it fell off on Lanes Mill where the pole is in the middle of the road.
Just
Okay.
call my dad. He would tell you.
Well,
He's a
here's
sheriff's
the
officer.
thing.
I
Your dad, the
promise
sheriff's officer, wasn't driving your vehicle today. Your
He
dad, the
would
sheriff's
tell you
officer.
it's already damaged. And he already reported to the
Well, listen, here's
insurance.
the
He
deal.
already reported everything.
Pump the brakes. You're 21. You're an adult. We're trying to figure out what happened with you and driving and leaving the
I
scene
hit
of the
a
crash.
curb.
You hit a traffic signal.
No, I hit a curb.
Yeah, you went up the curb. You hit the traffic signal. The traffic signal fell down, and you
I
left.
was texting. That's why, and I already had damage.
I'm just trying to figure out how, because if you went the back entrance to come out of the Lanesville Marketplace, that still doesn't make sense.
It's late December. Somewhere off a stretch of road lined with strip malls, a Lowe's, a Chick-fil-A, and Applebee's, a traffic light is lying on the ground. Not flickering, not damaged, down. knocked flat, wires exposed. At the back entrance to a shopping plaza. No driver in sight. Dispatch gets the call first. A traffic signal down, no vehicle description, no plate, nothing but a hole where a light used to stand. Officers roll out not knowing what they're walking into. This could be a mechanical failure. It could be a hit and run. It could be nothing at all. It's not nothing. Within minutes, officers on scene start walking the perimeter, flashlights sweeping the grass, the curb, the road, and then there it is. A white bumper fragment, cracked plastic, curved edges, sitting almost gently in the middle of the road like it was placed there instead of ripped off. Be advised, we have a white bumper. 4 words over the radio. That's all it takes to turn a down light into an active hit-and-run investigation. Whoever hit this light didn't stop. They didn't call it in. They left a piece of their car behind and just drove away, into the dark, hoping nobody would notice a missing traffic signal on a plaza corner. But someone did notice. A witness. Someone who happened to be nearby, who saw a car clip the light and keep going. And this witness gives officers something they didn't have 30 seconds earlier, a make and model. A white Toyota 4Runner. Suddenly, this isn't a mystery anymore. It's a search. Officers start working the radius, gas stations, parking lots, side streets, anywhere a driver panicking after a hit and run might pull over to catch their breath and figure out what to do next. It doesn't take long. A little over a mile away, sitting under the lights of a Wawa gas station, there's a white SUV, front end damaged. Bumper hanging loose on one side, the exact side where a chunk of white plastic is now missing. If you've made it this far, hit subscribe now, because what happens in the next 10 minutes is one of the most satisfying unravelings you'll see in a hit-and-run case this year. Behind the wheel, a 21-year-old woman, college student, self-described soccer captain. She has no idea, sitting in that parking lot, that a fragment of her own bumper is already in an officer's hand a mile away, matched, photographed, waiting. She thinks she got away clean. She's about to find out she left evidence behind that fits her car like a puzzle piece. And she's about to make a decision that turns a minor accident into something much bigger. She's going to lie. Not once, not twice. 4 separate times to 4 separate questions, each story contradicting the last. Officers approach the vehicle. She's calm at first, a little nervous, maybe the kind of nervous you'd expect from someone stopped by police at 11 at night. She hasn't been told why yet. That's about to change. Because in the next few minutes, an officer is going to ask her one simple question about where she's coming from. And her answer, the very first thing she says, is already going to be a lie. She doesn't know it yet, but there's a bumper fragment a mile behind her that's about to make sure none of her stories hold up. Not the ex-boyfriend excuse, not the deer in Pennsylvania, not the curb. Every single one of them is about to fall apart, one at a time, in front of her. And it starts the second she opens her mouth. The bumper was already telling the truth, she just hadn't caught up to it yet. The first thing you need to understand about this stop is how ordinary it looks at first. An officer walks up to a parked SUV. A young woman rolls down her window. It could be a broken taillight. It could be nothing. She's asked where she's coming from. Applebee's, she says. I had a drink. One drink. 21 years old, coming from a restaurant a mile from a downed traffic light. Already, the pieces are starting to line up, but she doesn't know that yet. Here's promise number 1 delivered. This is where the first lie enters the picture, and it's not the last one you'll hear tonight. The officer asks the obvious question. Did she hit anything on her way here? No. Flat denial. No hesitation. If you didn't know better, you'd believe her. But the officer already has a photo of a bumper fragment sitting in his radio call 5 minutes earlier. He's not asking because he's confused. He's asking because he's giving her a chance to tell the truth before the evidence does it for her. She doesn't take it. Instead, the officer points at her vehicle at the front bumper, visibly cracked, visibly hanging loose on one side. He tells her plainly, Her bumper's in the middle of the road right now, a mile from here. And this is where her story shifts for the first time. She says the damage isn't new. She says it happened about a month ago. Her ex did it. A breakup, some kind of confrontation, damage to the car that's just been sitting there ever since, unrepaired. It's a clean story, specific enough to sound real, vague enough that it can't be immediately disproven on the spot. Except for one problem. The piece in the road isn't old, weathered plastic that's been sitting exposed to the elements for a month. It's fresh. Sharp edges. No fading, no dirt buildup, no sign it spent 4 weeks outside in December weather. And it fits her car exactly. Officers aren't accusing her yet. They're doing something more effective. They're just asking her to keep talking. Because right now, all she has is a story about an ex-boyfriend from a month ago and a bumper fragment from tonight that's already in an evidence bag a mile away. Two things that cannot both be true. She's asked to step back, hands visible, out of her pockets. Standard procedure. But you can hear it in her voice already. The story is starting to feel too small for the amount of damage in front of her. "I'm sorry," she says. Not an admission. Not yet. Just nerves, showing through the cracks of a story that hasn't been tested yet. Here's what makes this moment so important. Right now, in this exact conversation, she still has an exit. She could tell the truth. Officers have made it clear lying isn't going to make this go away, but honesty might actually help her. She doesn't take that exit either. Instead, she doubles down. The ex-boyfriend story stays on the table, even as the officer walks her through exactly what doesn't add up. The freshness of the damage, the location of the fragment, the fact that a witness already gave a full description of her exact vehicle leaving the scene less than 10 minutes earlier. She's 21 years old, standing in a gas station parking lot at night, watching an officer methodically explain why her first excuse doesn't survive contact with the evidence. And this is just the first lie. Because in the next few minutes, she's going to abandon the ex-boyfriend story entirely and reach for something even harder to believe. A deer in another state. On a completely different night. She doesn't know yet that the officer is about to pull out something even more damning than a bumper fragment. A hand-drawn map of her own claimed route. One that's about to prove she couldn't have ended up where the damage says she did. That story might have worked if the bumper in the road didn't fit her car like a puzzle piece. One lie down, she had 3 more left, and a map about to prove every one of them wrong. This is the chapter where her story completely falls apart. Pause. Not because an officer raises his voice. Not because anyone threatens her. It falls apart because of geography, because roads only connect in one direction, and she's about to claim they connect in a way that simply isn't possible. Here's promise number 2, delivered. You're about to watch a hand-drawn map dismantle 4 separate lies in real time. The ex-boyfriend story is gone. In its place, a new one. She hit a deer. In Pennsylvania. Weeks ago, coming home from school, on a completely different trip, in a completely different state. It's a bigger claim than the last one, and bigger claims need more explaining, which means more chances to get the details wrong. The officer doesn't argue with her. He does something smarter. He asks her to walk him through her route tonight, step by step, from Applebee's to right here. And she tries. She describes cutting through a plaza, coming out near a Lowe's, passing a Chick-fil-A, making a turn near a traffic light. It sounds plausible, the way most lies do when you're only listening for confidence and not for accuracy. But the officer isn't just listening, he's drawing. He sketches out the intersection, the actual corner where the light went down, the actual direction the damage indicates the vehicle was traveling. And when he lines her stated route up against the physical evidence, it doesn't fit. Here's what doesn't add up, laid out simply. 1. The damage is on the passenger side of her vehicle. 2. Her claimed route would have required impact on the driver's side. 3. The bumper fragment was found on the exact corner she says she never approached. 4. The fragment shows no weathering, meaning it broke off within hours, not weeks. 5. A witness already placed her exact vehicle model at that corner minutes before police arrived. 5 points. 0 of them line up with a deer in Pennsylvania. Again, do you mean to tell me that this is just a coincidence? The officer asks. That this piece was found right next to a traffic light? She doesn't have an answer for that. What she has instead is a request, the first real pivot of the night. Can I call my dad, who's a sheriff's officer? It's the first time his job comes up. And it's telling not because it's an unreasonable thing to ask, but because of the moment she chooses to ask it. Not when she's scared. Not when she's confused. She asks it right after the map proves her story is geographically impossible. She thinks his title is a way out. The officer doesn't shut the request down. He simply tells her calmly that another officer with the second half of her bumper is on the way, and they'll talk it through from there. No threats. No urgency, just evidence, continuing to arrive, continuing to not go away. And this is the moment we're sitting with. A 21-year-old standing in a parking lot, watching a hand-drawn map take apart a story about a deer in another state, and her first instinct isn't to tell the truth. It's to reach for her father's job title like it's a piece of paperwork that makes the last 20 minutes disappear. It won't. Because the same honesty she's counting on to protect her is about to come from the one place she didn't expect it, her father's own mouth, describing damage to a car in a way that contradicts everything she's told police tonight. Would you have caught the story falling apart before she did? Drop the timestamp where you knew. She thinks her father's badge is a way out. She has no idea he's about to become the reason she can't lie anymore. She reached for her father's badge as a shield. It was about to become the opposite. This is where the pressure finally breaks something loose. Not a confession, not yet, not fully, but something closer to the truth than anything she said all night. An officer asks her directly, is she scared? Scared of getting in trouble? Scared of tickets? Scared of what happens next? Yes, she says. It's the most honest word she's spoken since this stop began. And once that door opens, even slightly, the story starts to shift again. She admits she thinks she hit something, not confirmed, not detailed. Just the vague outline of an admission, offered like a test balloon to see how it lands. It lands fine. Nobody raises their voice. Nobody punishes her for it. If anything, the tone in this moment softens because the officer knows exactly what's happening. She's not being broken down. She's finally catching up to what the evidence has known for the last 20 minutes. So she tries one more version of events. I hit a curb. Third story. Third geography. No more deer, no more ex-boyfriend, now it's a curb, somewhere along her route, something small and explainable and survivable. The officer doesn't accept it, but he doesn't dismiss it with anger either. He simply lays out, again, what the physical world is telling him. This was a traffic signal, not a curb. It came down completely. It didn't wobble, it didn't scrape, it fell. You can hit a curb and drive away with a scuff. You cannot hit a traffic signal hard enough to knock it flat and walk away with anything less than the exact kind of damage sitting on the front of her car right now. 3 stories, 0 of them survive contact with a downed traffic light. And now the turning point of the entire case. Officers agree to let her call her father to arrange a ride home. It's presented as a courtesy, not an interrogation tactic. A tired, scared 21-year-old allowed to call her dad at the end of a long night. Nobody in that moment, not the officers, not Teresa, seems to expect what happens next. This next call is the moment the entire case turns. If you want to see exactly how it plays out, make sure you're subscribed, because you're not going to want to miss what her own father says next. Her father picks up. He's calm, a little confused, trying to get his bearings on a call he clearly wasn't expecting. And an officer starts walking him through the damage, not to trap him, not to trick him, just to get a clearer picture from someone who's seen the car more than once. And her father, with no idea what she's told police for the past 20 minutes, starts describing the damage in detail. The front bumper, cracked. A missing piece near the fog light. Denting and scratching along the side. Fresh damage. Recent damage. The kind of damage you'd notice immediately, not something that's been sitting there for a month from an ex-boyfriend, not something from a deer 3 states away. He mentions the missing piece, specifically a section near the headlight, the exact section that matches the fragment already sitting in an officer's hand from the scene of the crash. He has no idea he's contradicting her. He's just being honest, describing his own daughter's car the way any parent would when a police officer calls asking for details. And that honesty is the one thing her story couldn't survive. Every story she told the ex, the deer, the curb, required her father to either not know about the damage or to know a version of it that matched her excuses. Instead, without any coaching, without any awareness of the stakes, he confirms the damage is new, confirms it matches the missing piece, confirms, without meaning to, that his daughter was not honest with police tonight. The man she called for help just became the reason the truth was impossible to avoid. Her dad had no idea he was the one who ended the story. Would your parents have said the exact same thing without realizing it? The one call meant to get her home safe just closed every door she had left. By the time the call ended, there was nothing left to explain away. Let's lay it all out. One more time, from the beginning. 4 different stories in under 30 minutes from the same person about the exact same damage. First, the ex-boyfriend. A month-old grudge damage that had supposedly been sitting there for weeks. Second, a deer hit in another state entirely on a night that had nothing to do with this one. Third, a curb, a minor, forgettable moment of bad luck that any driver could claim. Fourth, and only under direct pressure, an admission that she'd hit something tonight, somewhere along her actual route. 4 stories. 1 piece of physical evidence that didn't move, didn't change, and didn't care which version she landed on. Here's what's worth sitting with. At no point in this stop did officers raise their voice. At no point did they threaten her, mislead her, or push her toward a specific answer. They simply kept returning to the evidence, the bumper, the map, the route, the freshness of the damage, and let her stories collide with it, one at a time. That's what actually caught her. Not intimidation, not a trick question, just physical evidence that existed in the world whether she admitted to it or not. Lying doesn't help anything, one officer tells her, plainly partway through the stop. It's not a threat. It's closer to advice she doesn't take until it's already too late to matter. Leaving the scene of an accident, especially one involving public property like a traffic signal, typically carries real consequences. Depending on jurisdiction, that can mean fines, license points, restitution for the damaged property, and in some cases, additional charges layered on top depending on what officers determine happened before the vehicle left the scene. This isn't legal advice, and every case resolves differently depending on the evidence and the jurisdiction. But the broad shape of it is simple. Driving away from damage you caused almost always turns a manageable situation into a much bigger one. A single fender bender, reported honestly on the spot, is a paperwork problem. A fender bender followed by 4 different lies to police is something else entirely. And that brings us to the detail that makes this case stick with people days after they watch it. She invoked her father's job, a sheriff's officer, as if it were a shield, something that could soften the moment, maybe even make the whole thing disappear before it went any further. Instead, it was her father's own honesty offered freely, without any idea he was contradicting her, that closed the case. He wasn't trying to catch her. He was just describing his daughter's car the way any parent would when police called asking questions. The badge she reached for wasn't the thing that saved her. The father behind it was the reason she couldn't keep lying. There's something almost poetic about that. She spent 30 minutes constructing stories designed to survive contact with police, with witnesses, with a hand-drawn map of an intersection. The one thing she didn't account for was her own father simply telling the truth without knowing it mattered. That's often how these cases end. Not with a dramatic confession. Not with someone breaking down in tears and admitting everything at once. Just evidence, piling up quietly, until the story has nowhere left to go. 4 lies, 1 fragment of plastic, 1 honest phone call. That's all it took. If this case kept you hooked until the very last second, you know exactly what to do. Hit subscribe, because we cover cases like this every single week, and you don't want to miss the next one. Which of her 4 stories would you have believed first before you knew about the bumper? Let us know in the comments. We read every single one.